and welcome to ThaiPBS English News Service. Tonight you're with me, Rungtip Chonapalai. Geologists believe that the Majan fault line, which has caused a number of tremors in Chiang Rai province over the recent days, could produce quakes as strong as 6.5 magnitude on the Richter scale. Meanwhile, authorities confirm the tremors felt in the past 3 days have not so far caused any damage. Residents of Chiang Rai's Majan and Mae Sai districts are carrying on as normal despite the several tremors felt since Monday. The latest quake was very early this morning, measuring 2.9 on the Richter scale. The shakes on Monday and Tuesday measured 3.1 and 2.7 magnitudes respectively. Local authorities have designated 18 districts as watch-out areas, while disaster mitigation units are currently on a 24-hour standby in case the earthquakes become more severe. Associate Professor Samphan Singharat Warapan, Dean of Chiang Mai University Faculty of Science, said that the recent quakes are caused by movement in the Majan fault line. This active fault line, according to the Dean, could produce quakes of 6.5 magnitude. He added that buildings, especially schools and hospitals, built before the enforcement of the 1997 Construction Act, should consider updating their structures to make sure they can handle future shakes. Tomorrow marks the 8th anniversary of the Tak Bai massacre, an incident in the Deep South in which 7 people were shot dead and another 78 crushed and suffocated to death while being transported by authorities. Meanwhile, the Deputy Prime Minister responsible for security and the Army commander have been visiting the Restip region, ordering a clampdown on the illegal activities behind the violence. General Yuthassak Sasiprapha, Deputy Prime Minister for Internal Security, and General Prayut Chan-o-cha, the Army commander, met with operational staff in Pattani today. Both are worried that tomorrow's anniversary of the Tak Bai tragedy will see an increase in insurgent attacks. Meanwhile, this year, Eid al-Adha, an Islamic celebration where family members gather together, falls just 1 day after the Tak Bai massacre anniversary and may be an additional challenge for security officials as they struggle to keep the region secure. 8 attacks Sunday alert security staff to the possibility of further violence. The Deputy Prime Minister ordered officials to clamp down on illegal activities which may be behind the violence in the south, including the narcotics and illegal gasoline trade, which used the unrest to mask the illegal activities. If any state officials are found to be involved with the matter, General Prayut says heads will roll. As an anti-corruption and pro-monarchy gathering is scheduled this Sunday, today police have met with the protest leaders to try to ensure the public's safety. Deputy Prime Minister Chalermyu Bamrung, along with the Metropolitan Police Commander, had lunch with General Bunler Kaprasit, who is recognized as the leader of the Protecting Siam Group, or Ongkar Pitak Siam in Thai. The luncheon discussion was positive as officials and demonstrators worked out a security plan to ensure that no violence occurs, especially any instigated by a third party. The protesters will gather at the Nang Leung racetrack on Sunday to show their opposition to all forms of corruption, especially by the government, as well as to show their loyalty to the monarch. Democrat Party leader Aphisit Vechachiwa says he and his party are not behind the rally. However, they do share the same goals, namely checking the government's performance. However, he said that the Democrats will use parliament as the body rather than turning to the streets. Despite this rally is being led by a general who has an active post in the army, Defense Minister Air Chief Marshal Sukampol Suwanatat says he is not unduly concerned about the protest. The 5th ASEAN Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction, held by the United Nations Office of Disaster Risk Reduction, or UNISDR, is being held in Yogyakarta, Indonesia. The International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies, or IFRC, are calling for greater investment in disaster risk reduction efforts at a local level. The UN said that most of the countries in Asia-Pacific region have faced massive economic losses due to disasters like earthquakes, tsunamis, and massive flooding during the past several years. Thailand lost as much as $2,090 billion or 80% of the total regional loss as a result of the 2011 floods. The UN representative highlighted that countries' ability to handle them if failing to keep pace with the increasing risk of natural disasters. Therefore, according to the UN, all countries should support one another in disaster risk preparation. However, Indonesian President Susilo Bambang Yudhoyono, whose country was awarded first place in disaster risk reduction ranking from UN, said at the opening ceremony that Indonesia has spent more than 6 years to achieve their risk reduction scheme. Thailand was awarded only 3.3 points out of 5. Importantly, young people have been involved in a parallel seminar. Mark from the Philippines hosts a radio program to inform locals, especially the youth, about good disaster risk reduction practices. This conference on disaster risk reduction is an important forum for governments to commit to a shared responsibility in continuing to reduce the loss of lives and the social, economic, and environmental damage from natural disasters. After 1 year of the rice pledging project, the government is to continue the scheme even though it has been widely criticized, especially for its high price and cost of implementation. I talked with Kun Vichai Siprasert, President Emeritus of the Thai Rice Exporters Association, who is asking the government to reconsider the scheme.
In 12 months, our export volume shrank by about 50%, and that is a major disaster. Our farmers who produce surpluses to be export about 10 million tons per year, now only half of it could be sold, and the rest of it are kept in the government warehouses. Now we have huge stocks, all in excess of 10 million tons, which means that we will not be able to liquidate it. Even with market prices, it will be difficult to liquidate that stocks because our competitor in India managed to export so much. They have about 30 million tons of meal rice at the beginning of the year. And I believe that by the end of the year, they will be able to export about 10 million tons also out of the 30 million tons. The world trade altogether annually is about 32-33 million tons. And India alone has that much stock. Now, Thai government build another 10-12 million tons of stock in addition to the Indian government. So we have huge stocks. Now, huge stocks in both countries means that prices have to go down. And the Thai government would like price to go up. So it go against the force, the market force. The demand supply dictate that price will have to go down to liquidate.
But then the government also said that they could liquidate by G2G, I mean government to government.
Well, G2G that the government announced, 7 million tons or so. It's something that we in the private sector know that it cannot be. Why? The price that the government set when we buy in 15,000 baht per ton means $800 at least per ton. Now, FOB price of top quality rice, like 100% grade, the most that we see is about $600. Right. And the Thai government set at $800. You have to add some expenses, could be another $100. So you could say $900 level, which is out of line and not possible to sell. And we have not seen a single grain of rice exported by the Thai government, whether at 800, 900, or any price, we haven't seen.
Thakon Tantasit, the NBTC Secretary General, has handed over papers relating to the auctions of 3G mobile spectrum bandwidth to key state agencies for examination after first submitting the papers to the Office of the Auditor General. He is aiming to assure the public that the auction was conducted in a transparent manner. All documentation will also be submitted to the National Anti-Corruption Commission, the Department of Special Investigation or DSI, and the Office of the Ombudsman for analysis. The NBTC Secretary General added that since the auction of 3G mobile spectrum bandwidth remains the subject of criticism, he decided to clarify all of the auction procedures to prevent the need for further investigation. Pisit Leela Wachiropad, advisor to the Auditor General of Thailand, said they will complete work on examination of the 3G auction in 1 week and will consider if the starting price was too low and whether there was genuine price competition in the bidding. Today, the New Generation Anti-Gambling Network, or เครือข่ายเด็กรุ่นใหม่ไม่พนัน gathered in front of the Ministry of Finance to voice their opposition to the use of the online lottery vending machines because they believe that the new system will encourage more adolescents to be tempted into gambling. This morning, 30 members of the New Generation Anti-Gambling Network protested against the online lottery scheme by throwing black gift boxes intended to symbolize New Year's gift from the government to all citizens. This action is to persuade the government to reconsider the scheme, as the network's members believe that the online lottery will not help to reduce the problem of overpriced or underground lottery ticket sales. The Youth Network's representative has filed a request with Deputy Minister of Finance Thanusak Lekuthai, the Government Lottery Office Administrator, to cancel the use of the lottery ticket vending machines and suggested that lottery revenues should be used to help rehabilitate all types of gamblers. According to a recent survey, 25.3% of students admitted that they would play the lottery using the vending machines. The New Generation Anti-Gambling Network will join other networks to continue their protest if the government's online lotto scheme proceeds, since the required public hearing also has yet to be held. The online lottery is scheduled to launch in January next year. Today, football's international governing body, FIFA, launched its FIFA 11 for Health program in Myanmar, the first country to host the scheme in Asia. FIFA says the program promotes 11 simple messages aimed at reducing communicable and non-communicable diseases.
FIFA's new initiative is based on an analysis of risk factors by the World Health Organization. Professor Jiri Dvorak, FIFA's chief medical officer, the Myanmar Football Federation, or MFF, and the Sports Ministry came together at the opening ceremony in Yangon for the launch. FIFA saw Myanmar's reform period as the best time to introduce the program, which uses football as its basis. Professor Dvorak said that FIFA have proved that using football as a platform for education toward a healthy life is very efficient. More than 30 teachers from 11 schools are taking part in the pilot project to bring football into students' daily lives. The project starts with 1,000 students in schools and aims to reach children around the country.
Also, that we're trying to implement this project. If we succeed, of course, you can cover more students, more children. So that will be good for your future, good for your country. Yeah.
The program promotes messages on protection from HIV, respect for girls and women, avoidance of drugs, tobacco and alcohol, and simple hygiene rules like washing hands and drinking clean water. According to UNAIDS, more than 200,000 people live with HIV in Myanmar, out of an overall population of 55 million. AIDS-related illnesses, tuberculosis and malaria are among the 10 leading causes of death in the country. Myanmar is a nation with a strong interest in football, with an estimated base of over 1 million active players. The country used to be a football stronghold in Southeast Asia in the 1960s and 70s, although it has performed less well in international football since then. Hugh Adams, ThaiPBS.
And that wraps up tonight's edition of ThaiPBS English News Service. Thank you for watching. I'm Rungtip Chonapalai. Have a good night. สวัสดีค่ะ